So in these two video clips that I'm about to share with you today is a high school student who shares something that is quite concerning, but then also absolutely embarrasses a sitting Democrat. So with that being said, let's hop right on into it.
Thank the gentlelady from Washington. I'll now recognize my friend and colleague from the great state of Texas, Mr. Gill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding a very important hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for taking the time to come here. Mr. Hunter Lopez, I'd like to better understand your story. I think it's important, and thanks for being here and being boldly telling us about what happened. Can you tell us what are the requirements to create a student club at your school?
The requirements are to have 10 members, a teacher that's willing to sponsor, and a room to meet.
And did the Republican club that you formed meet those requirements?
We did on day one.
They did, and was your club allowed to be created?
No, we were actually notified that we were denied due to political nature, even though other ideological groups, including groups promoting gender-affirming ideology, were approved.
Why do you think the school had such a sort of obvious double standard?
I'm not sure if it's the educational establishment. It could be any of those. It could be the principals that have been in the system for a while. They just don't want conservative values. I think it's a trend we've seen with, how Charlie Kirk was on campuses and on high school campuses. I think that they think conservative values are a threat because they're true.
And how has the school administration either encouraged or supported World Hijab Day?
Our principal actually wore the hijab 2 years in a row that we know of. It could be more. She's posted it, promoted on social media, saying she, quote, loved it, all caps. And they're just promoting these events like nothing, but our club, on the other hand, has to receive strict, first of all, we weren't approved in the first place, and then once we were the only club that couldn't have other privileges that other groups had, and they took down our posters. And so there's just a lot of things in this double standard clearly to favor the Islamic group. Is
it true that your school's libraries offer Islamic literature, like the Quran and other things?
Yes, so McMillan Junior High and Wiley ISD offers a Quran, but no Bible available.
But no Bible. So there's a Quran, but the Bible's not allowed.
Correct.
Is that true in multiple libraries?
From what I know, confirmed, it's McMillan Junior High is one that I know of. I can look at the other libraries and submit them to you if I find any other findings.
Okay. Have you talked to the school about why they would allow a Quran but not a Bible?
So I haven't, the principals actually run away from me and hide, so I can't have a discussion with my principals because I act like an adult and they act like children.
Yeah, well, you very much are acting like an adult. They probably don't want to be on the record with that policy, given how egregious it is. When clubs such as your sponsor visitors to come to the school and speak about club interests, whatever they are they subject to security screenings? So when our club has guest speakers, including a state representative or a congressman, we have to submit 2 weeks in advance paperwork. We have to submit a week in advance background check. We have to submit their staff if they're coming. All these lengthy processes. I often have to miss my lunch period and skip lunch, skip a meal to fill these out. But on the other hand, the Islamic group got favorable treatment. Okay, yeah. What were the security protocols that were in place for the Islamic group? From what I know, none. None? From what I know. So typically, you have to go through a lengthy background process, but this Islamic group didn't have to. Correct. Obviously, they didn't background check, the organization because it has multiple terror links, and they didn't. I guess they didn't check the Sharia pamphlets that they gave us or the Qurans with the Shahada card. They were perfectly fine with it because the principal was there that day, just looking at it, perfectly fine. What's been the response from the school since you've been public and vocal about this double standard? Like I said in my opening testimony, when my mom had requested the principal to email my teachers, because I had to miss school for the first day after that, and I had to go late the second day because of death threats and things like that. And my mom had asked the principal to email my teachers just to keep an extra eye on me. And the principal told my mom, "You can." So it's really, that speaks volumes to the approach of leadership that the school has and the school district has, because I guess they just wanted to dismiss my safety in that moment. You received death threats? Yes, sir. What were some of the death threats? Could you tell us about them? I had people saying that they were going to be at my house waiting for me to get home and they were going to shoot me. I had people telling me to kill myself, a lot of different things. But I know nobody can proclaim anything over me because I wake up every morning with victory with Christ. Amen. That's exactly right. What has the school's response been to these death threats?
Like I said, that first day was very dismissive. I actually received a death threat last year, and I believe I have emails, and I could submit them to the record of the principal saying, "Oh, things are already taken care of." Very, I would say, downgrading it or just minimizing specific situations. I can submit those emails to the record.
I just want to be clear. You had a threat against your life, somebody saying that they were going to come to your house and murder you.
Correct.
And your school's response was dismissive.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's the end of my time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Very, very concerning stuff and a clear double standard. The individuals at that school, principals and whatnot, should all be fired. And I think they should be charged criminally. Yeah, I know there's technically not really a criminal charge there or a crime really there, but to say to a student, no, we're not going to protect you, or to say to a student's parents, no, you can protect a student. Well, last time I checked, you're in charge of the student while they are in school. So you are supposed to be protecting students no matter who they are. That is utterly disgusting behavior. But I got another clip of Jamie Raskins, Democrat Jamie Raskins, absolutely getting embarrassed by the same guy. Check it out.
Basically said we've got to hold everybody to the secular law. Is there anybody on the panel who thinks that we need a special law addressing any particular religious population, whether it's the Muslim, the Christian, the Jewish, the Hindu, the Mormon, or what have you? Or are we just saying that everybody should be held to secular law in America? And I'm happy to open it up to anybody. Mr. Hunter Lopez.
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. I think that you keep referring to a secular law. I think it's important to point out, I believe it was 56 of the 57 Declaration of Independence signers were Bible-believing, faith, church-attending Christians. I believe it was the first original 13 colonies that required a declaration of faith. So I'm not acknowledging that.
Oh, well, wait a second. Now, you're traversing my territory now, Mr. Hunter Lopez. You brought it up. Are you aware that the Constitution of the United States does not establish a religion? It forbids the establishment of religion. Are you aware that it doesn't mention God?
So the Declaration of Independence mentions God 4 times. But what I was going to say...
Is the Declaration of Independence law?
So Declaration of Independence was declaring our independence from the tyranny of England.
Yeah.
But
the
what I was trying to
Constitution's
finish
the governing
is that
law.
I'm not, suggesting that we need to go back to taking, tests or saying that you have to acknowledge...
Wait, do you know that Thomas Jefferson was denounced as an infidel who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Because he didn't believe in the establishment of religion, and he and Madison were emphatic about separating church and state. That's the whole glory of our constitutional design in our history, that they rebelled against centuries of religious warfare between the Catholics and the Protestants and witchcraft trials, Inquisition, Holy Crusades. America proclaimed the separation of church and state, what Thomas Jefferson described in his famous letter to the Danbury Baptists as a wall of separation.
That was a letter, not a law.
Okay, so your position is that America is a theocracy?
You didn't let me finish my original statement, and I understand you have limited time, but what I was going to say is I'm not suggesting we need to go back to anything that's in writing, but what I am saying is we need to acknowledge...
Oh, I think we should go back to something in writing. I think we should go back to the First Amendment.
Oh, yes, the Constitution,
yes.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is that, how I said original colonies were requiring declaration of faith to run for office. I'm not saying we have to go back to that.
That's why we have a First Amendment.
What I'm saying is that we do...
That's precisely why Jefferson wrote it.
We do need to acknowledge our Christian heritage in America. That's what I'm trying to...
You can acknowledge whatever heritage you want, but you can't impose an establishment of religion on other people. That's the greatness.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying we need to acknowledge our heritage. That's what I'm saying.
Well, everybody can acknowledge their own heritage. Do you agree with that?
American heritage, not just any heritage, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you don't think that you're allowed to acknowledge your Christian heritage or your Jewish heritage or your Muslim heritage?
I'm saying you members of Congress need to acknowledge American heritage.
Yes.
Round of applause for the young brother, man. Round of applause. I mean, absolutely spectacularly done, owning a sitting Democrat, which is... That's got to be embarrassing. To be getting owned by a high school student, yeah, that is pretty bad. Pretty bad. But shout out to him, man, for standing up for what's right, even in the midst of, death threats and other things. I know that can be extremely scary, especially as a student, right? You not even like not even having the protection of senior officials at his school, which is just utterly disgusting. That should not be allowed in this country. Everybody should be protected from any type of violence. Just because somebody says something that you don't like doesn't mean you all of a sudden get to throw your hands up and say, yeah, well, I don't know what's going on. Well, then relinquish your job. Principal, assistant principal, any officials at the school that feel that way, relinquish your job, quit, resign, or just simply be fired. I don't care what you do, but don't work there anymore. That is utterly disgusting and ridiculous stuff, and it needs to stop. Where you have these leftists who have these motives, and because somebody speaks out against something that they agree with, they're all of a sudden like, well, I'm not going to do anything, or F you. Like, no, you have a job to do. And part of that job, if you work in a school, is to protect the students. And if you don't want to do it, then leave. I don't care who that student is. That student could be a far left student. You protect them. As long as they aren't harming anybody, you protect them. Simple and plain. This ain't complicated. This isn't rocket science here. But yeah. Shout out to him, man. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. He did a phenomenal job, and honestly educated me on some stuff that I didn't even know what was going on in these schools. But am I surprised? No. Are you? Let me know in the comments. And what do you think should be done about these school officials who are kind of, dismissing these serious threats? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.